let's move on to the next topic, Premier League Team of the Year. So that was just released.
Can you pull it up on your computer?
And yeah, here, I'll read it out right now. So we have Ederson as the goalkeeper. Any issues with that?
I don't have a problem with that. I mean, Alisson has also been really good. But
like, he had the most clean sheets.
But, I mean, I'd say, like, they're neck and neck, but they won the title. So you give it to Ederson, in my opinion.
Well, this team was actually made before the title was announced.
Yeah.
But it was after the Spurs-City game where City won 1-0 and Ederson saved, like, 3 one-on-ones. And I wonder if that had anything to... Because that was the last game that City were likely to drop points in against Spurs.
We're all fine with that?
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the back line. So Van Dijk,
obviously.
Has to be on the team.
it has to be on the team. No issues with that.
His stats, I don't know what they are off the top of my head, but like he's won like 90% of his aerial duels or whatever, and it's ridiculous. It's
he's on a whole
it's
nother
like
level.
in FIFA when you have a player that's like overpowered, like there's like you create a player in career mode. And you give them 99 on everything.
Yeah. It seems like no one's dribbled past him this season. Like,
no, that's too.
No. He has 0, like, dribble bys, or I don't know what the stat is, but 0 people have dribbled by him this season.
Insane. All right, Laporte as the other center back. I'm fine with that as well.
Yeah,
he's also been really good.
Yeah.
The one game
not as good as Van Dijk, but
the one game he was bad in was in the Champions League against Spurs.
Yeah.
Where he gave up like.
But that doesn't matter for this because it's just Premier League.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
all right, Robertson at left back, Scottish lad. I like that. I like that selection. I think he's been excellent this season.
Yeah,
he gets up the field, puts in crosses.
I don't think there's any other left back I could see.
Digne from Everton. That's the only other left back who might have a shout. But I still think Robertson is better than him. I think Robertson's been better.
And then right back, Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Same.
Totally fine with that. He had, I think, I was looking at statistics earlier, I think a goal and 12 assists. So
most assists for a defender in the Premier League in a season ever.
Yeah.
So
he's been great this year as well. I think I'm totally fine with the back line. Ederson's fine with me, for me too. The issue is where I have in the midfield next. So we have Bernardo Silva, 7 goals, 7 assists. That stat line, though, doesn't capture what he did for City.
Yeah, I think he deserves to be.
He's a great player. But I would say, how has Hazard not made it?
Who are the other mids?
Fernandinho and Pogba.
Wasn't Fernandinho injured for a good chunk of the season?
He played 29 games.
Like, it depends on how you want to organize the midfield. It's interesting because Fernandinho is like more of a defensive midfielder, so obviously his statistics aren't going to be as good. And when you think of defensive midfielders in the Premier League, I don't think there's anyone better than Fernandinho.
Declan.
I would agree with that probably. I don't know if Fernandinho's had that. I mean,
I feel like he was probably better last season.
Well, when he plays, he's a massive boost to City.
He's consistent. His consistency.
Like, he won't do anything extraordinary. He won't make any errors.
Good ball winner, though. Smart fouls.
He'll win the ball, like, receive it, slow the game down, and find good passes, like spray the field.
Yeah.
I personally have more questions to ask about Pogba. And it's his best season at United statistically, but I don't know if he's been all that. Especially that he's the reason that Hazard's been excluded.
Yeah,
him and Bernardo Silva.
Especially with their recent results. They had the loss against... they had the draw against Huddersfield, who was 20th place and got relegated. Yeah. And then they had the loss to Cardiff, who was also relegated. So I don't think... Although I agree, those are my 2 that I would potentially pull out. I'd say Pogba, I'm kind of touch and go with him. But I'd say Fernandinho stays just because he is such a good center midfield presence, like defensive midfield. I feel like he contributed a lot to City, and I think it's fair to put him in that.
How many goals did Pogba score?
He scored 13 goals, 9 assists. So this was his best season with United by far. He scored double the amount of goals that he scored in any other season.
Was he on pens last season?
I think he's always been on.
Okay, because this season he scored 7 penalties.
Penalties?
Yeah, I looked it up just now. So that's like that's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot.
So Bernardo Silva has more goals from the run of play
And
against Pogba.
I think Bernardo Silva did much more work like outside of just scoring and assisting.
Yeah, if we're looking at the non-numerical advantages or input that he has for City, he creates so many opportunities, and it may not be that last pass, but the critical pass into the assist or whatever, and he gets the ball in so many dangerous areas for them.
Yeah. Here, before we talk about who we think potentially missed out on the team, let's go to the forwards. So you had Sterling. I think he had 17 goals, 10 assists this season.
Yeah, I think Sterling.
Very good. I have no issue with him being there.
Yeah,
Aguero, 21 goals. Really great this season again. And then Mane. So
I think Aubameyang could have deserved it instead of Aguero.
Yeah, I guess he had one more goal, but again, like I know,
and on a worse team,
they pick it before the title, but I think there is something to be said for being on a title team and contributing like that. Obviously, you can't really compare Arsenal and City. Like it's not.
Yeah.
I think Aguero's goals were less important. No, Aguero's goals were more important than Aubameyang's. Because at the end of the day, we're talking about the Premier League, and Arsenal haven't done anything in the Premier League.
They choked it.
They're going to finish 5th, which is good for another team, but not by Arsenal standards, who they'd finished in the top 4 for the last perennially.
I feel like too many times he didn't show up for big games as well.
Yeah, that's true. I think he had a lot of missed opportunities. He had the penalty that he missed against Spurs, which was a big 3 points against another team that he choked. And
no hate against it. Like I think Aubameyang could be like a potential Golden Boot winner in the future in the Premier League.
Well,
he
he already won the
Golden Boot.
He tied, yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I forgot. But I feel like he could be a guy that goes out and scores 30 goals. I think he's that good. I think it was part of the season. I know he played half a season last year, but it's still an adjustment period. I think if Arsenal can get more talent around him as well, especially from their key distributors in the midfield, because Ozil was in and out of the side.
Yeah.
People who are looking to play him through more often.
And him and Lacazette together
are really
that's fun to watch.
Yeah, and Emery at the beginning of the season didn't play them together, which is crazy.
Yeah. But at the end of the season and in the Europa League, he's been consistently playing them together, and they've just been tearing it up.
Going back to the Premier League Team of the Year, so is there anyone that you guys think that's missed out? Because
Hazard. Yeah, Hazard has to be. I mean, in terms of goal contributions, goals and assists combined, he has the most of any other player.
Yeah, 16 goals, 15 assists.
Yeah.
And I feel like he was way more. For me, the players I would take out would be Pogba and Bernardo Silva. And
Both of them or one of them?
I'm not too sure. I would definitely take out one. And I'd probably, after hearing the penalties statistic and seeing how badly United performed towards the end of the season when they needed him most.
Pogba's not that he didn't carry United ever.
Yeah.
Or he had games where he was their only bright point throughout the.
But I don't even think that was consistent.
Yeah, it wasn't consistent, and he was clearly not able to bring United to a higher level this season, which is what you look for. If he's the only person out of his team making it into the team this season, that's what you're going to look for.
Okay, I'm going to make an argument for Eriksen as well.
Eriksen?
So let me start off with Hazard. So
we know Hazard. Yes. Hazard deserves to be in there, but Eriksen.
So Hazard for Pogba.
Sure.
And I'm going to say Eriksen for Bernardo Silva.
Why?
And here's why. So just to get the statistics out, just so people know, Eriksen had 8 goals, 12 assists, which is decent, right? And I'm not saying statistically it's not that big of a difference between him and Silva. But with Kane out for much of the season, Eriksen had a bigger load to carry this year. And although Son stepped up,
I think you can make it also could make a case for Son.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think for Son it's harder to replace that front three.
Yeah, right. Yeah. If you're considering him to be an attacker, which he was this season, he doesn't fit in.
I just think Eriksen had to step up and help to carry them into the top Spurs into the top 4. Because when Kane got hurt, I think they were in 3rd. And they were able to remain in that top 4 with Harry Kane being out for much of the second half of the season because he had 2 major injuries.
Yeah.
He got hurt, I think, in March, came back in April and got hurt again. Something like that. So I feel like he had to carry a load just to keep Spurs in the top 4. And I think he did a great job again this season. I feel like he's been flying under the radar a little bit over the past couple of years. And I think he's had better seasons than previous seasons. But I think he played a bigger role this year in Spurs' success in the top 4.
Well, I'll make the same case that I did for Aguero over Aubameyang, for Silva over Eriksen, is that for the top 4 was tight, but the top 2 was even tighter. It's been a point since January or something, right? So Bernardo Silva's goals and assists were more important than Eriksen.
Do you not think, though?
Giving them.
Do you not think, though, that they could have just plugged someone else in from City in Bernardo Silva's spot? And I'm not saying they would have gotten the same production, but they would have got something very similar that wouldn't even necessarily have affected their title
I
run.
don't think they really have a player like another player. That's
well, for City, doesn't Bernardo
Silva
Silva play on the wing?
Sometimes he plays right wing or drops into the midfield.
Yeah,
right. He's in that right. He played.
I think I do think he is replaceable though. If you want to say midfield,
in the front three,
you can put Foden.
I don't. Foden is not on the same level as Bernardo Silva
in the Premier League. It's Kevin De Bruyne. So you're only, in my opinion, you're only replacing him with a better player.
Yeah, but a player that's had injuries.
So he's irreplaceable when De Bruyne is out injured. And I'd say that so in Pep's team this season, the first 3 names on the team sheet every week are Laporte, Silva, and Sterling. And it's he makes rotations almost on a gamely basis where maybe Mahrez will start or Bernardo will start on the wing or in midfield. But every game, Bernardo starts, Laporte starts, and Sterling starts. And maybe they're not in the same position every time, but those 3 players have been in the team for almost every game. And so
Aguero's what's his name? Gabriel Jesus has barely played this season.
That's true too.
Yeah, I don't know. I still feel like he is still more replaceable. I agree he's had a great season, and that he is a good player. But I feel like City have the players within their not reserves, but within their squad to replace him. And if De Bruyne came back and he were to, I know De Bruyne was injured most of the season, but I feel like you could have worked it out to take Bernardo Silva out of the side and still perform at a top level. Like you had replacements like Mahrez, you had replacements like Sané, and you had even
in the midfield. I
understand not in the midfield, but you still even had younger players who could step up and play in those positions. And I think they could have done it without him. That sounds bad. Not done it without him, but I feel like he wasn't as important as this team of the year suggests. I don't know. You disagree with me, huh?
Yeah. I think he's been phenomenal.
Yeah, if you look at how much he's run per game, it's crazy.
He's outrunning every other player.
Yeah, he works so hard. He'll do anything to get the result. And every team needs a player like that.
He's the perfect Pep Guardiola player.
Yeah,
which is kind of unrelated to whether he goes in this team of the season, but he is the perfect Pep Guardiola player.
I feel like next season he's just gonna go on another level.
I think he'll be starting.
No, he's improved. Yeah. He's improved a lot. Okay, I don't know about that. He's improved a lot from last year though, and I think he'll take another step next year as well. Fair to say?
Yeah.
Okay. Before we change topics. So the player of the year was Van Dijk. Are we all good with that? I thought about it earlier. I'm fine with that, actually. Because he played so well. And he meant so much to Liverpool. Look at the transformation of the back line with and without him. So we're good with that?
I think that Liverpool don't go anywhere near where they did this season without him. So
okay. And then we have young player of the year, Sterling. Totally fine with that as well.
Yeah.
I think, it makes sense.
It's kind of weird to view him as a young player.
Yeah. Because he's been playing in the Premier League for
when I saw him on the list, I was confused.
6 years.
I was he's been there so long, but he's
been
so
to
young.
2 or 3 World Cups, and he's still eligible to be a young player because he's 24. So I think more has to be asked about.
I think young players should be chopped down to 22.
Yeah,
that's what me and Graham were talking about earlier.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then you have the playmaker of the year, Hazard, because of his just number of goals and assists. I think in terms of if we talk about people who mean stuff to their team, at Chelsea, I'd say he was.
Yeah, he carried them.
He carried them to the top. They ended in 3rd, so he carried them.
Yeah, pretty impressive actually.
All right, so I feel like I'm totally fine with all 3 of those decisions.
It's just weird that Hazard's going to be playmaker of the season, but he's not actually in the team.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. We can all agree that he should have been in the side or in the team of the year side.